Octavia is one of Ireland's favourite cars, and it has been for many years. This car is a little bit of a national treasure, but it is quite anti-fashion. It's not an SUV, it's not electric, and you can still get the Octavia with a manual gearbox. So it defies market trends, but it stays really popular. For example, on Carzone.ie, the Octavia is the most searched for Skoda, ahead of other Skoda cars and SUVs like the Kodiaq and the Karoq. So what's so special about the Skoda Octavia? I'm Caroline Kidd and you're watching the Carzone YouTube channel. Before we get into the rest of the video, please like and subscribe to stay up to date with all our latest videos. And remember, you can find more Skodas for sale and lots of Octavias on Carzone.ie, Ireland's trusted motoring marketplace. One clue to the Octavia's popularity has always been price. It does offer good value in the market. So it starts for about €30,000, and that's for a 1 litre turbo petrol. If you want to go for one of the higher powered petrol and diesel Octavias, it's going to cost you a bit more. What we have here is a 1.5 litre turbo petrol engine, and it's in Sportline trim. So it retails from about €40,000. So it's not as cheap as it once was, but this is a big car and it does offer a lot of value. This is the 4th generation Octavia and it arrived in 2020. So we see this subtle evolution of styling. It's quite a timeless style. So it ages very well. And there's a new grille there and also slimmer LED headlamps. They come with matrix LED technology for the very first time. Also some little contours here in the bonnet as well. So some nice detail in this car. And this is the Sportline model, so it gets some styling tweaks inspired by the RS High Performance Octavias. So you get the full blacked out grille, and there's also a sporty front apron and this little black tip on the lower part of the bumper. This latest Octavia is a little bit longer than the model it replaces, and also a little bit more aerodynamic to improve efficiency. The Sportline model sits on a lowered sport suspension. It's lowered by about 15 millimeters, so it just hugs the ground a little bit better. Entry-level Ambition models come with 17-inch alloy wheels. The Sportline model gets 18-inch Comet alloy wheels. You've also got a Sportline badge, the black wing mirror caps, and this black window surround as well. Now, when it comes to colour, from Carzone searches, we know that the most popular colour that's searched for on Carzone.ie in the Octavia is black, followed by grey, and then white takes third place. LED rear lights come as standard now across the range, and they come with dynamic indicators. Skoda is spelt out across the back of the car, and it's finished in black on the Sportline models. They also get this nice little boot lid spoiler as well. But it's a really handsome car, I have to say, really nice looking. But of course, this car is all about space and practicality. Wait till I show you the boot in this Octavia. So it's 600 litres here in the hatchback and 640 litres in the combi, or also known as the estate version of this car. So it's absolutely massive, it's huge. It really dwarfs all the other hatchbacks in this class of vehicle. So for example, a Volkswagen Golf has about 380 litres, and even something like a Toyota Corolla Saloon has about 470 litres. So this is huge. I mean, I could probably move into the back of this boot, it's so big. And you also have these little levers to let down those rear seats, so it's very practical. And there is a bit of a lip there, but generally I think this is ideal for family life. Skodas are notorious for being very spacious and roomy cars, and this Octavia is no different. It's huge back here. Certainly feels a lot bigger than many other compact hatchbacks that this car would rival. Now, it's built on some very familiar Volkswagen Group underpinnings that underpin cars like the Volkswagen Golf, but it's a stretched wheelbase for the Octavia, so you just get more legroom back here. There's really loads, it's so spacious. This car is also a bit wider than the car it replaces, so that middle seat is a good size. It should be easy enough to fit 3 people across the back of this car. The only thing to note is that there is quite a prominent centre tunnel here in the car, so that will impede a little bit of the legroom for your middle seat passenger. You get rear vents, you get USB-C ports, and there's also a rear armrest, and there's 2 cup holders in that. There's also a hatch that opens through to the boot. You've got little pockets here in the back of those seats, and one Simply Clever feature, of course Skoda is famous for its Simply Clever features, is this little pocket here for a mobile phone in the back of the seats. So generally it's just a really nice place to sit, and I suppose the space in this car is its big USP. It is great value for money. For this new generation of the Octavia, I suppose the biggest changes to the cabin are the upgrade to the digital tech, and also an upgrade to the material quality as well. So you get a digital instrument cluster standard and a large touchscreen. They range from sized from about 8-inch up to 10-inch. They've also improved the perceived quality of the materials. So this plastic is good up here. This Sportline model gets some fabric here. There's also some gloss black as well, and ambient lighting. Now, the only thing I'm not so keen about when it comes to the material quality is this hard, scratchy plastic in the door handles, and that's a real common touch point. So I think for a 40,000 euro car, it would be nice to see some soft touch materials there on those handles. But otherwise, it's a really solidly built cabin. It's absolutely rock solid in terms of its build quality. This one is the Sportline model, and you'd kind of expect it to have a sportier ambience. It's a little bit bland, I think, for one of the more top of the range models. The most obvious sporty touch are these sport seats with integrated headrests, but they're not really finished in very nice seat fabric. Could do with a little bit of Alcantara or a more plusher seat fabric, I think, than this material. But generally, it is a really nice cabin. It's well built and also a very well equipped car. So you get a reversing camera, dual zone climate control, cruise control, and also keyless start as well. But the Sportline does add heated seats and also a wireless smartphone charger. Like other latest generation models within the Volkswagen Group, the Octavia has gone this minimalist way with the cabin design, so that means a lot of the car's functions are controlled via the touchscreen, including the ventilation. I know I've been complaining a little bit about that in some of our reviews of other Volkswagen Group products like the Cupra Formentor and also the Cupra Born, but I actually think what's here in the Octavia is probably one of the easier ones to interact with, because they've put in some nice handy shortcut buttons here below the screen, so you can pull up the climate control menu really quickly, and also the temperature controls are always present here on the screen as well, so it's easy enough to adjust that. And it's actually handy because you can just leave your hand here rested on this, so it's just simple things like that that make it easier to interact with the screen. And this 10-inch screen on this Sportline model comes with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. There's also gesture control and voice control as well. The Octavia is built on the same underpinnings as lots of other Volkswagen Group cars, like the latest Volkswagen Golf, the Audi A3, the Seat Leon, and even the Cupra Formentor that we reviewed recently on the channel. So that means that they get access to lots of good engines and gearboxes as well. So for the moment, Skoda Ireland has withdrawn the plug-in hybrid from the range, so it's just petrol and diesel. Now, the range kicks off with the 1.5L TSI with 110 horsepower. That's a 3-cylinder unit. Then there's also the 1.5L petrol with 150 horsepower. There are 6-speed manual gearboxes and also DSG 7-speed automatics. There's also a 2-litre diesel, of course, with 115 horsepower or 150 horsepower. And diesel is actually still a popular search on Carzone for Skoda, and Skoda Ireland do still sell a lot of diesel cars as well. The top of the range models, of course, the high performance RS models. There's a 2-litre diesel with 200 horsepower, and then there's also a 2-litre TSI, top of the range petrol, with 245 horsepower. And I've always really enjoyed those Octavia RS models. I've had great fun in those cars over the years, particularly the TSI one in particular. It's a really nice car. So what I'm driving here is the 1.5 litre TSI Sportline. Retails for about €40,000, and I'm driving the one with the 6-speed manual gearbox as well. It's got 250 newton meters of torque, 0 to 100 kilometers per hour is about 8.5 seconds. So it's actually one of the quickest of the range, bar the high performance RS models. And it's really sweet to drive, I have to say. Very smooth and refined, even with that manual gearbox. It's easy to drive. It cruises very well, it settles down to a cruise nicely out on the motorway, and it has something called cylinder deactivation technology, and that improves the efficiency of the car by shutting down 2 cylinders when the engine is under low load, for example when you're cruising on the motorway, and that makes the car more efficient. So I was driving on the motorway earlier and I was cruising along at motorway speeds, and the revs were at about 2000 RPM, and my average fuel consumption was about 4.8 litres per 100 kilometres. So that's really excellent. Now the consumption has gone up as I've been doing more rural road driving and also town driving. So my overall average this week has been so far about 6.4 litres per 100 kilometres, but that's not really bad at all for a petrol in a big car like the Octavia. So I think this 1.5 is definitely worth considering, and being a 4-cylinder engine, it's naturally a bit more refined and balanced than the 3-cylinder petrol. It's good to drive as well. So I think for this generation of the Octavia, they've certainly closed the gap on the Volkswagen Golf, for example, on comfort and refinement. There's a bit more insulation than before as well. Now, there is a little bit of road noise. That's probably the only refinement issue that I've really noticed with this new Octavia, but I'm just really well tuned to things like that. Many people would drive this and they may not even notice that, but it's just worth noting, I suppose. In terms of comfort, now this Sportline has that slightly lowered, stiffer sports suspension, but generally it is very comfortable on the smooth surfaces, does the cruising on the motorway very well. Just on very bumpy, uneven surfaces on country roads, I just found it a little bit unsettled, a little bit firm at times, but generally it's very good, I have to say. In terms of the handling, it does feel very secure and stable in the bends. There's plenty of front end grip there. The steering is nice and direct and precise. So it's good to drive, but it certainly won't set the world alight. It's not the most exciting car to drive, but nor does it have to be. And as I said, it's very secure and stable in bends. So it offers everything you could really hope for from a car like this. There are driving modes, like there is an eco mode, there's a sport mode, but I don't think it's really relevant in a car like this. So generally, it's a smooth, simple, comfortable, refined car. It's not fun to drive, it's just simple and straightforward, just like the rest of the car. The Octavia is still one of the biggest and best value hatchbacks on sale, and this latest version certainly closes the gap on rivals with more comfort and tech than ever before. It's not as cheap as it once was, particularly if you go for one of the more powerful petrol and diesel Octavias, but it's still great value and it's a real sensible and practical choice. Remember, you can find more cars for sale on Carzone.ie, Ireland's trusted motoring marketplace. Please give this video a like and subscribe to our channel to stay up to date with all our latest videos. So thanks for watching and I'll see you soon.